The next thing is to determine your priorities. So your priorities are whatever's most important in you reaching your goals, the things that are going to be the most effective in you getting there as quick as possible and as most efficient as possible. And if you don't have priorities, you're not going to have something to measure against when you're trying to figure out what it is that you should be working on currently. So you've got something that you're trying to work on something. Let's say it's a short-term sort of thing. Maybe it's you're trying to learn a new set of chords or something. And well, let's say that you got some things you can choose from. Let's say you could be doing some sweep picking. You could be doing, it's a guitar technique used for like shredding. You could be doing, you could be learning some seventh chords or some other type of extended chords. You could be learning to write melodies. Now, those things could all be important depending on what your goal is, but maybe your goal dictates that only one of those things is really important. So let's say that you want to be able to play jazz music. Well, you don't necessarily need to be able to shred. You'd probably be better off focusing on learning the extended chords, like the seventh chords and ninth chords and such. If you want to be a neoclassical shredder, then maybe the extended chords are not going to be something that comes up as much in that style of music, and therefore you'd be better off practicing the things that teach you to shred and that give you that sound like the sweep arpeggios. But if you want to be a singer-songwriter, then maybe that stuff's more simpler music, right? I'm not saying that all singing songwriter music is simple, but perhaps what you want to do with it is simple. So focusing on melody is going to be more important. Something that's singable, something that's pleasant to listen to. You don't need shredding sweep picking over like some acoustic thing with a a harmonica or something. I mean, I guess you could. Maybe that's your thing. Yeah. What would that be? I don't even know what you'd call that. But so you can see like how you could look at all this information and all this stuff that's out there, on YouTube videos and all the tabs and free lessons online, and it can be overwhelming because it could look like there's so much to learn. But once you figure out what your end goal is and you figure out what your priorities are, then it helps you get rid of all the stuff that you don't really have to learn. It gives you something to measure against in terms of what you should be focusing on. Let's say person A tries to learn all that stuff. And let's say they ultimately want to be a great jazz player, mostly like rhythm stuff. So learning the chords would be most important for that person. But they think, well, maybe I should be as well-rounded and stuff. You never know when you got to use some of this stuff. And the fact is that they never end up using the sweep picking. They never end up really having to worry about melody too much because they're just doing the rhythm guitar parts. So it was really the chords that they had to learn. And then for the other person B, let's say they just focused on just the chords. Well, they weren't wasting time learning the sweep arpeggios. They weren't wasting time learning how to write melodies. They were just getting good at the chords. So who do you think reached their goal faster? The guy who's, person B, who's just focusing on the thing that they need to be focusing on and not doing all the extra stuff that's not really going to help them get where they want to get. So that's really what I want you to take from that.